Please put your hands together. Welcome Catherine and her panellists to the stage. Thank you.
Hi. Thank you.
Good.
It's okay. You can come in the front. We don't bite, promise. But I know you guys want to keep it fluid. So first of all, thank you for being here, and thank you for participating to this event, which I know you are expanding to Asia. So maybe we can go over there since we have some of our panelists. Anyway, so the panel before was actually two panels before was very interesting. And before I let my guest, matter of speaking, introduce themselves, I think indeed it is an interesting time. It is a sobering time if we want to be positive and optimistic. I'm from New York, a French New Yorker, so I have to be, to some extent, bringing the only thing left in the, no, I shouldn't say that, the optimism. But it is indeed, there's some bad news. It's a tough time for the funds, as we see, for the startups, because money is scarce, or deployed more, a little bit more, it's a little bit more complicated. Startups are now it's quite slow to, adoption is not as fast as one would hope. But it's also not easy for the large corporations that are now facing almost a conflicting priorities, because they are in a very rocky water. At the same time, they have to adopt innovation, also because of the requirement, may they be regulatory or what they've promised in terms of impact or reduction of their impact. But the good news is that everybody is in the same boat. And if we want to swim versus sink, that's where partnerships are so important. And I think that, as we discussed with Paul when we thought about this panel, while biotech has been extremely exciting for the past 10, 15 years, we talked a lot, or we put on stage a lot of the startups. And as Paul was saying, I was the CEO for Modern Meadow, and right now I'm helping a lot of startups, including World Collective, which is a platform putting together suppliers, brand, and manufacturer in a seamless way. But focus was on the startup. Then the focus was on the brands, because they they use the technology themselves. Then the focus were on the funds, because money was a little bit tight, because adoption was a little slow. Well, now I think that we need to complete the ecosystem and bring partners. And I think that this is why the panel today is very dear to me, because when I took the helm of a few startups that were not commercialized after 5-10 years, I was able to commercialize within 6 months in every single case with a positive margin contribution because of partners. And I think that this is manufacturing partners could be very interesting for everyone, and they're sometimes underestimated. And I think that the panel that you see here with Jan, with Kimberly, and with Seda, you will see that third-party manufacturing or CMO, or whatever you want to call them, can be used at different time or can be worked with in different ways for different reasons. So rather than me talking, I'm going to pass the mic to the panel for them to introduce themselves and the companies they are obviously championing. And after that, we'll ask a few questions. Seda?
Yes. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm Seda Cantekin from TotalEnergies Corbion. Who we are, so we are a 50-50 joint venture of TotalEnergies and Corbion. I must say, we could have been a bit more creative for our name, brand name, I think. So, we are an independent company. We are relatively small compared to our parent companies. Our headquarters are based in the Netherlands, in Gorinchem, it's close to here. And the production is in Thailand. So we produce PLA, polylactic acid, under the brand name Luminai. And the production is in Thailand. Basically, we have our operations there. Around 200 people work there. And in the office, we have about 30 people. We are a global company. So what we do is we supply Luminai, PLA, polylactic acid. So that's what we do. So it's a polymer made out of 100% sugar cane, so that's why it's in Thailand, right next to the feedstock sugar cane fields. So it's a polymer basically just like other conventional polymers that can be processed exactly the same way, can be used in many different applications like packaging, food serviceware, durable products, in automotive interior, healthcare, medical packaging, cosmetic packaging, and so forth. So yeah, we are one of the, I think, the second biggest supplier in the world. So there are only, I think, 5 or so. There are new ones coming up in China as well. So the one existing for a long time is NatureWorks in the US. So we have been in the market for about 10 years now. And then there are other ones like Hysun and BBCA in China. So we currently produce around 75 kilotons per year in Thailand, and we supply globally. So it's, yeah, it's a relatively good scale. Of course, compared to other plastics, it's really still tiny scale. Compared to millions of tons per year, 75,000 tons is nothing, of course. So that's a little bit in a nutshell what we do. Of course, we try to really unravel the potential of lumini. I mean, it's still, or polylactic acids, or bioplastics in general, I must say. So it's still a little bit new in the block, new kid on the block, let's say. So it's still a bit niche, specialty products. So what we try to do also kind of unravel the potential, work with partners. So I think it's a great also panel to be here to discuss about that today. Yeah, try to really together work towards develop the market and you know, bring more volumes in the market, which will help eventually with the price and also the adoption of new materials in the market, etc. Yeah, about myself, I'm a global market segment leader at TotalEnergies Corbion. I took care of 2 markets. So since we try to also focus on more markets or solutions other than products, so we try to switch our focus from product and technology because we passed that moment, right? Like, so we have been in spin-off within Corbion, but now we are out of this phase. So we really now try to form more applications. So I take care of markets like durable goods and 3D printing. So try to give, you know, a little bit direction to the company, okay, which markets to focus, develop the markets with partners, with brand owners, manufacturing partners, tollers, strategic partners, with converters, etc. So we will be talking about those as well. So yeah, really looking forward to the discussion today. Thank you.
Jan?
Yeah, good morning. Paul, thank you, and Catherine as well. Thanks for hosting this panel. Paul, thanks for setting up this event, because this is about partnership, right? This is about connecting the dots between different parts of the value chain. So I think partnership is a good discussion topic, whether you forward or backwards integrate into the value chain. My name is Weernink. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer with GF Biochemicals. Spent most of my time in the chemical industry. Took the role here at GF Biochemicals to lead the commercialization efforts of the company. It's been around for about 13, 14 years, mainly focused on the process side, on the front end, trying to create the molecule, create the technology, create the manufacturing platform. We're now in the commercialization phase since a couple of years. It's so hard to bring new molecules to the world, but we all know that. It takes time, it takes perseverance, and it takes partnership on both sides of the equation. So I'm happy to be part of this discussion.
Thank you. Kimberly?
Yeah, thank you, Catherine, for bringing me here today. And I'm Kimberly, the sustainability coordination from Junteng Group. We are a PU synthetic leather manufacturing, and we focus on the innovation and sustainability in our field. And then after years of development, we are now having 9 subsidiary facilities, 6 of them located in China and 3 in Vietnam. And we also the direct supplier to many famous brands like Adidas, Tory Burch, Michael Kors, and Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So in this panel, I'm going to have to say men first. For once. So Jan, your company, you are bio-innovators, so, and you do have manufacturing capability. So one would think, why do you need partner in manufacturing? Could you, first of all, was it easy to convince, we talked again, the finance team was, the finance, you know, the funds were here. Was that an easy sell? Was it, and why and when do you partner with other producer?
I think the journey will be different for every company, depending on the technology and let's say the feasibility and the implementation of the molecule in the market. For us, it was a natural choice because as a small startup or scale-up, investing hundreds of millions of dollars into a large first-of-kind plant brings risks. We've heard the panel talk today about the financial side of the equation. If you have to raise that type of capital as a small startup, it certainly is doable based on the promise, but certainly there's also the cash flow, right? So I think this is a really big important aspect there is the cash flow and the burn rate that you have. Forming a partnership with an external manufacturing network is for us the right solution because you can start building that plant, which brings financial risks, but also the manufacturing risk because the plant doesn't start up and work right away. You have all kinds of technical adaptations and innovations inside of the plant. So it was a really big risk. And we said, look, it's probably much, much better to go to an external manufacturing network. There's lots of people out there that can do things, that have capabilities, that have capacity, that are willing to work with you. For us, it was financially the right thing to do, but also from access to market. Because if you have, especially in today's world with the tariffs and the chaos and all of that stuff, it makes manufacturing in one single location also more challenging. So having this external manufacturing network allows you to say, okay, I'll produce in North America, Europe, and Asia at the same time. Whereas if you have a single plant, which you can only afford, you're stuck to that single plant and you have a higher liability and risk as associated with that. So in hindsight, it was a good decision not to go and build a plant. Obviously, there's also financial trade-offs because building your own plant, you optimize the technology, you bring the cost down. So you have a much more of a, let's say, financial incentive that way, but the risk, the cost, the scalability, and now we have 2-3 sites. We can do different things. The smaller site we can reserve for trial and development work. The bigger site for production. You can do that in a single plant. So I think for us it was really important and timely to continue the path of external manufacturing. And different industries use different terminology, but for me it's the external manufacturing world because it just de-risks and brings us to market much faster. Because building a plant takes 2 years without any hiccups. Assuming you build a first-in-kind plant, you're going to have hiccups. Stuff is going to happen that you don't control. So that's the reason why we decided to go with external manufacturing.
Great. Well, sounds pretty wise
Logical.
nowadays.
It's logical.
Looking back, it's a great decision. But I think that's the world of also of startup is that you learn you learn from a lot of different partners, and you can obviously go faster if you're together. Kimberly, you actually are on the other side. You're the one with Junteng based on Asia. You are a manufacturer, but you're very unique, and I know that because I've worked with you guys. You're one of those manufacturers that not only knows how to produce big and fast and cost efficiently, and in a sustainable manner, because that's part of your mandate as well. But you're one of those partners that know how to help work on the last mile. As a startup, and as you insinuated, and it's sometimes you want to tweak or you want to learn how to tweak the tech to be able to industrialize, and you guys do that. So can you please share with us why you partner with new innovator startup? Because it is a cost to you and it is a risk. It's at least consuming time. So why do you do it?
Yeah, actually, why we want to partner with the early stage of innovator, there are 3 reasons. Firstly, we can getting early to access to the cutting edge technology that this will give us a competitive edge, and that means we can starting using this kind of bio solution in our supply chain, even our production chain. That means that we can bring this sustainable innovation to our customer early than our competitors. And then the secondary, it's about that we have the technical skills and experience to turn this innovation into reality. Yes, because you know that we have more than 20 years experience in manufacturing PU synthetic leather. Yeah, we know how to adapt it, the production line and solve the problem during scaling up and move quickly to a mass production. you know that we'd like to try any potential innovation. For example, we are the one of the first manufacturer in China who try to use the biopolyurethane to make a bio-PU for our customer, and we did it. We successfully to make it commercialized, and the brand Tory Burch have continued to buy this bio-PU from us until today. Yeah.
So, and I think that is very interesting, right? While you are focused on optimization, you also are looking at this innovation as a competitive advantage. But of course, you have to do some screening. So what would happen if you were not to partner with innovators and if you don't do the right screening?
Wow, it's not a good chance for us actually, because if we don't work with this kind of innovator, we will hardly to develop our sustainable product, such as our bio-based PU series. And then we will lose the competitiveness in the global market, which transfer to a circular and bio-based solutions. And then worst of all, we think that we will in the risk of losing our key brand customers because they are relies on us with our sustainable innovation. And then moreover, we think that we will not have the chance to enter a new sector such as automotive, interiors, and furniture, where the bio-based materials is needing a lot. Yes.
Great. Thank you. So Seda, your product is, you're the number 2 in the world. Okay, fine. It's a new market, so fair. PLA is still small compared to the global need. But your product is biodegradable, it's 100% bio, sugarcane, as you said, you are quite efficient, pricing is right. So first of all, how do you see adoption and why do you partner since you produce?
Yeah, indeed. So our business model, indeed, we have like 9 SKUs. It's all, similar type of polymer actually. So this can be used in different applications. Yeah, so far so good. It looks good, but it's still a bit of a specialty material. It's still niche indeed compared to other products. However, it's also being pulled down also in terms of pricing and so on. So really, it fast can be commoditized, right? So, I mean, which is okay at some point. So because you want to also increase the volume and be used more and more in different applications. But on the other side, you also would like to differentiate to be out of this price game. So. Basically partnership model that we really started, I think 2 years ago, was a tool for us for differentiation basically. So really a way to really go towards what we can do with PLA. In the polymer level itself, you can also do some certain things. Of course, modification of the polymer itself. Synthesizing it differently, maybe, etc. But this would be a much long-term goal for us. So, and we really didn't really want to do that in the beginning. And if you look at our customer portfolio, it's mostly actually we realize it's mostly compounders. So really where PLA goes at the end before it's converted to a product or a part, it needs to be compounded always. And then. Yes, that's also fine. Okay, we do our business and then we can forget about it. But on the other hand, when we don't really have this customer intimacy and engagement on a partnership level, we also really lose the information or the know-how, where this material ends up, what end markets is being used, what applications, or what are the unmet needs of these customers. So what can we do differently? So in order to have this information, I think we started to really look more into detail compounders and initiate these partnerships. And this year, I think, Sulapak, yesterday we were together on the stage. They are not compounder, but they are more like a product developer plus converter, and they also do some compounding. And also Benwick is, for example, is one of the examples. So what we do with them is basically by this formulation development and really visiting the customers together and then really offering the full solution. So we can have, for example, the understanding of PLA chemistry, modification of PLA, or formulation development, and compounders can offer this knowledge of compounding and what mixes with what, etc. And they have also most access to downstream, so to end customers. So it's actually a great way of also doing business, I think, to get access to new customer network, to new know-how. And yeah, if we didn't really partnership, maybe in the short term nothing would happen probably, but I think in the mid and long term, yeah, we would definitely, just go more and more commoditized and lose our position definitely, because then it will be only a bit of a price discussion, and then, and then this is not what we want to do also in long term. We would like to definitely bring more innovations in the market with PLA. And we would like to see more and more examples of PLA, not only food packaging or food service ware, but also more durable goods, automotive interiors, appliances, etc. So that was basically the differentiation strategy we followed, partnering.
So thank you. So you always mention partners teach you, accelerate, de-risk some of the decision that you've may make. They are obviously learning from you, because that gives them also competitive advantage compared to others that may not take the risk to work with new companies, new technologies, new offer. Considering what's happening in the world, and a lot of things are shaking, but also this is the time where bolder moves are necessary, if not beneficial. Let me ask you, what are your thoughts in terms of partnership going forward in the next, I want to say 12 to 18 months? And I know the industry is not that fast, but in general, what is this environment promoting within your company in terms of partnership? What are the thoughts? What is the philosophy?
So building a plant is expensive, like I said before. I think we're going to rely, ultimately that's the goal. And we said initially we want to build it earlier. Now we've pushed it back a little bit, and we may delay it even further, depending on the landscape and the situation that we're in. Also the geopolitical landscape, if it settles down and everything becomes clearer and more predictable, it's easier to make that decision. So for now, we're going to continue with that manufacturing partnership model with external manufacturing, simply because it gives us access to market in different locations. So geographically, it gives us the ability to scale up products quicker and faster, because you don't rely on a single plant. So for us, the external manufacturing partnership model works right now, and we see it staying to work that way for the near future, simply because of the lack of predictability. I think if you talk from an investor's perspective, they want to see predictability, robustness, resilience. Resilient we are, predictable we're not, because our customers are not predictable. Our ecosystem is not predictable. So therefore, what can we do to de-risk all of that is to continue that external manufacturing relationship, because it de-risks a lot. And that's our philosophy going forward. Still, the ultimate goal, like I said before, building your own plant is, you optimize the technology, you bring costs further down, you scale even further. Because we work with smaller partners at this stage, but if we build this larger first-in-kind plant, it's going to be scaled, brings costs down, it enables the acceleration from that angle. Yeah, but we're balancing that. So it's going to be depending on, for me, a lot the U.S., how the U.S. behaves. I was born there, so I can criticize it with a,
Well, be careful, nowadays. Just saying.
No, but look, predictability is something that everybody wants. Then you can make decisions, and now it's much more like what happens today is not the same what happens tomorrow, and that for us is the biggest liability in making decisions at the moment. We can't rely on building the plant and then have tariffs in place, or tariffs are gone and then we build the plant and tariffs come back. So those are really big decision points. And it's not just tariffs, it's also the regulatory landscape. Last week we were in a conversation about regulatory. For me, regulatory equally is important, because and this is probably for all of the bioeconomy very important, if you don't have a supporting structure, supporting ecosystem for bio solutions, it's going to be very tough to displace fossil-based ingredients because of scale, cost, heritage, legacy. Something needs to happen on multiple fronts, and regulatory, landscape, predictability. For me, they're all important.
Seda, same question. What is the short term, I would say? I mean, obviously I joke, and I'm American and I live in the US, so of course I've been teased quite a bit lately. But we know that the weather is going to be a little bit uncertain for the next, let's say 3.5 years. But it's a blip in in the scale of the construction and of the ecosystem, which is the bioeconomy. So and of course the technology that you're championing are long-term replacement. So how do you see your action in the next 18 months because of the next 3.5 years, but for the next 10 years?
10 years, yeah. Yeah, it's really tricky, but agility is the key here. You know, really to be able to shift your strategy and what's the next short-term, mid-term, long-term plans in this changing environment. Like, be really able to make the switches, I think, on the way. And yeah, being somewhat relatively smaller company, I think we have somewhat like faster processes, I think, compared to our parent company. So I can say that. So I think we are able to do that. So now, yeah, for example, China is really one of the focal markets for us. So yeah, we are pretty, I think, big. We supply to the market. I think the volumes are pretty big compared to the other regions. So now our focus really goes on China market. Really look into like 3D printing market, for example, is for bioplastics, or PLA specifically is one of the focal markets. Also, automotive sector is there, kind of opening up for decarbonization towards net zero carbon, and really looking into more and more new applications in bioplastics in general. So, and I don't know, I really also like the dynamic environment there in China, like how, you know, how hardworking people are, and then that how agile they are to adapt also this changing environment. So that's why it's, I think, really easy and nice to do business there. So that's why I think China and Europe, yeah, will be our focus, and of course US. Yeah, we always try to also get more and more footprint there. But yeah, we have to see, I think, how it will evolve. Yeah.
Kimberly, you are in China, and actually last night we had a dinner. We talked about something, and I know Tony was in the audience, already made a call so that you have a meeting on Saturday. So talk about going fast on moving the needles, right? Yeah. How do you see? Do you see a lot of innovators or startup coming to you? Is it more than before, or is it the same as before?
Yes, it's more and more. We have our customer always put us to make the innovation, because we will need to do the global market. The global brand have the sustainable solution. They are gone, so they will need to push here to make more sustainable innovation for them. So we need to work with more innovator, and no matter in our Chinese market also, a lot of brand and our government, the policy, Deloitte always push the sustainable solution. Yes, just like the PLA for the packaging. A lot of our state launch a new law that all the packaging in China, the consumer will need to use the biodegradable packaging. Yes.
There is a lot of partners waiting for you guys to basically join forces for the next few months and few years. Again, thank you. I think that this is the type of panel that also shows that you can not only produce and capture more value, to use a financial term, but also partners to go faster. And I think that, as you said, nowadays it is important to be nimble, to try to mitigate or manage risk, and at the same time accelerate the adoption, as we've been in this conversation for the past 10 to 15 years. But I hope that you see that it can work, it works well. Just want to say thank you again to everybody. Thank you for joining this panel. Thank you for coming from Belgium, or from next door, and from China. Thank you for showcasing that there is other ways and different ways to do business. Thank you.